can't I grab half of these? God. This is another thing that kind of frustrates me about the level design. It's like, if you're gonna have this like really open world and like have all these like places you need to get to, I'd rather have more than a singular route to get to them. So like, I thought that this might have been unintentional, but like these blocks were here like a staircase. So I'm like, oh, maybe like it's kind of a another route to get up to here and grab onto this one to get up there. But no, you can't. I don't really, you're not really rewarded for creative ways to traverse the level, which is a shame because like, if like the whole goal was to be like a jungle gym sort of thing, why is it like so restrictive? I still haven't found a way to get up there. Okay, I have to climb up here, do I? Nope. You can use them in certain areas. Use what? Like the vines. Yeah, I know, but like it seems arbitrary which ones you are and aren't able to grab onto. I think the fact you can traverse the whole level on the vines and the trees is pretty creative. Yeah, I like that too. It's just getting up there, like there seems to only be like 2 or 3 paths. Okay, I like this, how there's like a sort of central bit of vines. So you can go to other trees. What? Oh, fuck, I gotta actually pick it up. It's just kind of weird how you can only climb that central bit, you can't climb the trees themselves. As far as I'm aware, like, I'm fairly certain you can't climb this. Nope. Just seems kind of weird. So like, instead of being able to climb every individual tree and get to all of the other trees, it seems like you can only climb up the central bit that links all of them. You can't climb the actual trees themselves, which seems kind of really weird. Alright, so I proved you can't climb that tree. What about this one? This one just has a bottle, but still. I already tried climbing up this one earlier. Yeah, there's nothing to climb up this one. And really, there should have been walkable vines instead of sliding ones, so you don't have to do that. If like if you wanted to like be able to actually traverse the whole lot, like interchangeably. All right. Also just a bottle, but yeah, there's no vine to climb up this one either. This one has multiple paths. Good job. Wait, does it? Wait, how do you get up here then? Or is that the only way to get here? Yeah, because I tried climbing up the car earlier. Don't need to though, the entire level isn't meant to be traversable. It's not an open... Wait, what? I like the fact you can traverse the whole level on the vines in the trees to be pretty creative. Now you're saying the entire level isn't meant to be traversable. It's not an open world. It kind of is. It's just really weird if like the whole goal was to be like a jungle gym where you're like meant to approach doing these in multiple ways and be creative with your platforming and your traversal. Why is it that it's so restrictive that you need to climb this one tower to be able to get around? And that also means if you fall down, you have to just go back to that one tower. You can't just climb up the tree. You fell down. Why is this one walkable but the rest are slidable? That doesn't... Is this one walkable or slidable? Why is that slidable? Oh my god, at least be consistent. They're all the same vines. Like, it's not a huge deal that it's slidable because, like, you just jump on and off like that, but, like, it doesn't feel intentional to be able to do that. That doesn't make any sense to me, though. You pick different routes to get to the missions. It's not built so you can climb on everything. You're meant to just pick the best route for the mission. Yeah, but, like, it seems counterintuitive that you're not able to take multiple routes. It seems like there's a lot of routes, like a lot of places you need to get to, and there's only a singular route to get there. Again, like, this mission's just kind of weird, because, like, why have all these trees linked up if there's only one way to get up to the trees? It would seem way cooler if, like, at any point in the level when, like, just walking around the level, you can climb up one of these trees and then walk between them instead of like, all right, I've got to get to this center point, climb up that, and then I can get to a tree. It just seems counterintuitive. Jack 2 Renegade better than Slide 2. I mean, I think so, but like they're not really comparable. Completely different games. That's the entire philosophy of the Jungle Gym's design. You can pick multiple routes. You choose which route would be the best one for you, for the mission, i.e. do you avoid guards by traversing the treetops? No, but that's my issue though. There isn't multiple routes. There's one. You can only get up to the trees by climbing up this one center point. There's no multiple routes you can pick. There's just the one. And that's my issue. And it's even more restrictive when you're playing as Bentley and Murray. You don't have nearly as many routes. Because again, these levels are built for Sly. Alright, let's walk through this. So like, when doing that mission, I was like clicking to see like where the collectibles were. And there were multiple like up high, right? So I was like, okay, I must have to climb that thing to get over there. So like it was on top of like, was it this tree? So I come over here to this tree. It's like, oh, I can't climb it. There must be a route to get there. And so I just like, I climb whatever's closest to it to try and find a route. But I end up going somewhere completely unrelated. And it's like not even close to where I'm meant to be going. And that's the same with all of them. Because the only actual way to get up there is to climb this one part. And how am I meant to know that without like... What? Fuck off. How am I meant to figure that out? Without just like exploring like everything. If I'm trying to go for a specific singular item in these treetops, why would I... How would I know to come to this one part that none of the markers are telling me to go to? I meant multiple approaches to the mission via climbing the treetops or running close to the ground. I think having every tree climbable would defeat the strategy of sneaking around and getting around the missions. I can see some validity to that, but then again, why would you even choose to climb the treetops when you have to climb this one focal point and then you just go to one tree and then you have to jump off down to ground level? And like, it's not like these other trees are connected to other trees anyway. Like those trees over there are, but those trees over there are, but in order to get over there to those trees, I have to climb this one specific tree and then climb down here. Then I have to run all the way over here and around. To climb these trees. To climb up this. Whoops. To then get to this tree, which lets me go to another tree and more stuff. Like, this is cool. Like, linking the trees like that and being able to climb around, I like that. But that's only one tree you can do that on. And it takes, like, a massive route to get there. It'd just be easier to walk on ground level and, like, it just seems like when you're trying to design a level where it's giving you multiple choices of how to traverse around, you want to make sure that they have almost equal viability. Maybe not like if they're both equally viable in the sense of like there's no difference to what path you take, but equally viable in the sense of there's benefits and drawbacks to each route. You know what I mean? So climbing up here, you avoid the bigger guards. You're just like, there's a couple of these smaller guys. And you avoid all the big guys, and you get to like just climb above them, and it's kind of cool, right? Like, I don't think there's any denying that like zooming around on vines and treetops is cool as hell. Way cooler than just running to your mission. But like, in order to just get up here to be able to do that, you have to climb that one specific center point of the level, and then climb on a specific tree, and then go around the specific route. And in all that time it would have taken you just to get up to the point where you're like doing the cool thing, you could have just gotten to the mission already. You have to use your wits and learn the level. That's good design. It forces you to learn the jungle gym and pick the best route. There are multiple routes, but you still have to be smart about it. Depends on the mission though. I don't think that applies here though. Like, I understand that's the intention. I don't think it was implemented here though. Because you're not given a choice of either climb the treetops or run to the mission, because they're not equally viable. One takes considerably more effort, and you're not given that much payoff for it. And again, you can only do it with Sly. You can only do it with the one character. Oh, again. I get, like, familiarizing yourself with the level is cool and all, and you're able to, like, take advantage of routes that you've found through exploration. That's really cool. Problem one is you can only do it with one character, which isn't very cool. Problem two is this level wasn't designed for that. At least with the treetops. Because, like, zooming around on these treetops is cool as hell. I really like it. And, like, climbing on the buildings and stuff where all the bottles are. It's cool, but you're not given multiple ways to get up there. To do that thing. The payoff is avoiding the guards, like the bug mission. You have to stay up in the trees to avoid getting hit by the guards while also keeping the bug quiet. I get it. I get it. The problem is the design of the level itself. Like, specifically talking about this one. The only way you're able to get up into the trees in the first place is to climb this one specific tower. You can't climb any of the other towers. Like, you can't climb any of the trees. Like, all these trees, like, they only exist for a bottle and that part of the mission. Otherwise, there's no real point to, like, going over to them after that. And then, like, that really cool bit of gameplay over there with, like, those other trees and the building and, like, that weird hook thing that you climb. You can only get to that place through this one specific path. Like, how cool it would have been to me to, like, slide over to that from up there. I just wish the levels were designed a bit more open-ended. I get what you're saying, but like I said, it's a certain route. I don't think that's poor design. It's like in Hitman, there are multiple approaches, but you have to pick which route will work best. I don't know. I think if you're designing an open-ended level and you need to take... there's multiple routes you can take, but to get to the multiple route, you have to go to one specific place and then do the multiple route. I don't think it's good design. Like, just looking at this looks cool. Like, all these vines, like, you see the red vines, you're like, oh, I can climb that because I've climbed it before. And you're looking around, like, all these trees and, like, these elevated parts and, like, these multiple layers of the level. It's like, bro, this looks sick as hell. I can, like, climb all of this and traverse the treetops, avoid guards and all that stuff, but it's like, you can only do it by going, again, this one specific place, and then it's pretty limited what you can actually do. And again, you can only do it with Sly. But that's the point of the specific place. What would be the point of having a landmark like the tower if you could climb literally every tree? But the thing is, it kind of blends in anyway. I didn't even realize it was there until, like, I stumbled across it, because it just blends in with the other trees. It doesn't really seem like a landmark. I'm not saying you should be able to climb every single tree. I'm just saying you should be able to traverse multiple parts of the level from more than just a singular point. And also, what's the point of these trees after getting the bottles and the spice? Aside from, like, jumping down them. But, like, you'd have to climb up there just to jump down. Like, I don't know. When I was little, this was the mission I couldn't get past. I'd get anxious and couldn't find the water drain to be dumb. Well, I mean, like, I do like this mission, actually, because, like, you can see, like, the mist in the distance. I think that's kind of cool. I will concede on the Sly traversal thing. I do think they could have done better with traversal for Murray or Bentley without having to rely on gadgets. They did a better job in 3 with that. Yeah, I agree. It's just, I wish, like, the levels weren't built solely for Sly if they're making me play as these other characters as well, you know? I just have a lot of nitpicks with level design in this game. A lot of it feels like it's just counterintuitive. So if that's a ledge there, and that's an important like part of the level I need to get to, I would like assume, because like the main path is here, and if I needed to get up there, there should be like a vine or something I can climb here, or maybe a trampoline or something. Instead, I either have had to already have climbed up these trees and taken that route, or I need to like figure out that this is here to get up there, or I have to go like the long way around, which is just what Murray and Bentley do. That one's like purely nitpicky. I concede that, but there's a lot of instances I find where like I feel like there should be a way to get a certain place, and there's not, and the actual way is more convoluted. Or not as intuitive. I won't say they're solely built for Sly. The jungle gym aspect, yes, but Murray and Bentley still have ways of getting around. They use their talents. They're just not geared towards traversal. You know, I just realized what my problem is. So, think of it like an action game, right? In something like Kingdom Hearts, there is a scale of what would you call it? A scale of like a skill level, right? So Kingdom Hearts 2 is very approachable because you can play the game just mashing the X button, no real strategy. Like you just get through it, do an attack, and not having to like really get to grips with the mechanics of the combat, right? However, there is depth in there so that you can learn the complexities of it, get good at it, and you'll be rewarded through like, you know, getting through the game more efficiently and better. It's kind of the same with Sly. As Sly, you can just run to your destination. However, the highest skill level, quote unquote, or what I think is the biggest draw of, you know, it being a platformer and stuff, is to find all the different ways of getting around as Sly through all of the blue sparkly methods of traversal. So that's how I see Sly. If you're not very good at games, or like you just haven't played the game much, or you don't want to like think too much about it, you can just walk everywhere, right? Unless like it's part of the mission to scale something. You can just walk everywhere. However, if you get good at the game, or in this case, getting familiar with the level design, you can exploit these cool shortcuts and these easier methods of traversal. However, as Bentley and Murray, you can't do that. You can only walk and run places. There's no getting better at playing as them to get through the level, and there's no getting familiar with the surroundings to get through the level easier with them. You can only do that as Sly. And then the problem with Sly is like there's some levels that just like aren't very well designed in that aspect. Like for instance, that whole tree bit I was talking about earlier. I don't think that's great, because like I now know that it's there. I can take advantage of that to get around the level. However, it's way more trouble than it's worth. I could have worded that a lot better, I'm sure, but I think that's the general idea of how I'm approaching looking at these levels and how I'm engaging with them. Bentley and Murray feels tacked on. Would have been better if you'd gone to the levels as Sly and you need to switch for a mission, you change over then. That's one way of doing it. Or you could like design the level in a way where there's intended routes that only each character can get through. So Sly can take advantage of like everything in these levels, because all of it is like built for him. Like there's all the blue sparkly bits everywhere, and you can learn the level and like take advantage of these cool routes you can take. But you can't, there's nothing like that for Bentley and Murray. There's no Bentley specific or Murray specific paths you can take that makes getting around easier or more fun. Okay, is that actually the way you're supposed to get up here? I don't think it is. I'm gonna find the intended way. That's another thing too. There's a lot of times where like I can't intuitively just find the proper way. I have to like either get there like unintentionally or like actually genuinely look for it. So it seems like I would have had to come from over here, not gone through the obvious path, but instead come to this corner to come over here, then found this trampoline to actually get up here. Then I would have been able to get to the pond for the bug. Instead I just like used a bit of the level collision to like get a little bit of extra height to ledge grab. That doesn't feel intentional, you know? And it's like, again, there should be intended paths for me to take, and I should be able to find them with ease. But finding stuff like that where I use a little bit of the level geometry to get higher, that should feel like a cool discovery after your like first playthrough. It's like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Instead of, I don't know where the path is. This works, I guess. Now, if what I just said, like this corner bit to the trampoline, isn't the correct path, correct me, please. But it seems like that's the way, like, they designed the level to be able to actually get around. But why would you put the intended route in this, like, weird corner? Like, why would you not go this way to find a way to go instead of behind this tree where you can't even see the sparkling because the tree's in the way? Bro. Can't remember every bit of this mission, but I'm pretty sure you can traverse the ruins and use the vines to get there. The other path might also lead to the trampoline. Alright, well, you know what? I'm trying to be as fair as I can when criticizing the level design here. I think the level design and the abundance of mini games is my biggest problems with this game. So let's actually try and like analyze this level, right? So first of all, you will be led to here. Like this area with this pool is unavoidable. You will be led to here because you need to follow the pools for the bug. So you put the bug there, then you grab it, and intuitively you would come down this path. Because that's... I hope I don't have to explain why that is intuitively like the way you're like drawn to go next, right? Why are you following me, bro? When grabbing the bug, you see like this room here that's like, it's kind of a dead end. There's no vines to climb up here. And there's an archway with a path leading here. So intuitively, you'll see that archway in the path, you'll be like, okay, maybe that's where I've got to go next. Like, I recognize like the mark is telling me it's right there. Maybe there's like a pool down here and it'll like lead me around. Like, because like, you know, it's an elevated ledge. Maybe the path is over there somewhere. Cool. So you'll go over down here. And yeah, there's no pool. So there's no pool. The bug's going off, and I'm being chased by guards because... Whoops. Because I didn't go the right way, apparently. But how else am I supposed to get there? I think I just found another path. Shoot. I can't see how this is well designed at all. If you're intuitively drawn to check over here, you know, or you know what? Maybe you'll like see the bottle and be like, bottle. Except I just fell off and there's nothing to like, there's no like, oh fucking, there's no circle sparkly stuff for me to grab onto to like let me land on that platform with the bottle. Plus, when doing a timed mission like that, you're not really going to be like, you're not really going to be concerned with like the optional collectibles. Okay, I hope we can all agree that this little bit of level design here, in the context of this mission, is poorly thought out. I don't even know if it's just in the context of this mission. I think that's just in general. Is there any other times you need to get up here? I know you need to get there for the safe. And is there any other routes to get there? I think that's like the only one. Like the only intended one. I think you can like climb up there and fall down or something, but that feels jank. And it's like, I don't have a problem with like them hiding like cool hidden paths, but considering this is the intended path, and it's a mission where you're holding a bug that's like on a timer before like it alerts the guards, it does not feel like they thought it very well through. Can you even jump from the bottle? I don't think you... Even if you do get the bottle there, I don't think you can, like, jump to over here. I think it's too far of a gap. Okay. What now? Hey there, Sam. Alright, it's just a Bentley mission now. And look how far we have to go. You know what? Before we do the mission, I want to see if there's any other routes to get to that bridge.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
What's going on? Alright, let's see if getting to this mission as Bentley has the same issues I've been talking about with like only one intended path to get to a certain place instead of multiple. Let's see if I'm able to get to this bridge without having to go all the way around this way. Maybe there's a path from the other side I can take. Surely there's like... Okay, wait, there's... Alright, yep, bridges. Okay, that's good, that's good. Alright, you know, there's... Get out of here. Path along the tree tops and ruins. Yeah, but I'm with the bug. I need to follow the pools. Ah, oh, bro. What is this with Clarks, bro? Do you mean these treetops and vines? What do you mean like those ones over there we were talking about? I need to know if you've actually found like a route that's meant to get me up to like the door there during that mission. I need to know. Other side of the map has no pools, but it gets you over there, yes. Well, if it's got no pools, how are you supposed to... Okay. Alright, you know what? You know what? Let's do it. I have an issue with that immediately, just like judging from that. But let's be charitable. Let's have a look-see. Alright, strike one. Strike one. Kind of lame that, like, you see all this stuff here. You see those cool things. There's not at least a hidden vine or something. Like, even putting it here, like a hidden vine here, just a sticking out platform, that would have been cool. Maybe there is and I'm just really dumb, but, like, it feels really annoying that it's like, to get up to here, I need to go all the way over here and climb this one tower, go around that whole side of the level and then go back. And then it's like, if I fall down, I have to go all the way back and do it again. But let's do it. Let's climb this tower. So keeping in mind, this route I'm taking isn't the like dev intended or like what's expected of you to take route. You're expected to like start there and then do all the pulls and go that way. So that little rant I had about hiding the intended path behind that tree is still valid. It's really not good design there. But let's have a look at this alternative route. And again, if I'm going somewhere, right? Say I'm like trying to do this, like I'm trying to go to a mission or something, but then I see, oh, there's a bottle and a piece of art there. And then I take it back to the safe house. I have to climb all the way back up again just to resume going to where I'm supposed to be going. But anyway. So we do this cool part. This is all with the bug. I'm just going to assume you were able to do it fast enough where the bug wasn't alerting the guards, or it was maybe like it was alerting the guards the entire time, but because you were up here, the guards either couldn't hear you or couldn't attack you, or I'm not sure. And then you jump down. I don't know. I mean, it works for sure. But considering like it's the considering the mission is like on a time limit and the timer is like a bug that alerts guards, it doesn't seem very intuitive to like be able to do that, you know? I didn't do the mission, just the route. Okay. Never mind then. The whole reason I was criticizing this whole path being here is because of the mission. You're only coming up here to do the... Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure you only come to this room here to do the mission and get the safe. And if one pool is there, the second to last pool is there and the last pool is here. and you don't, and say you don't, like, you grab it and you don't see that pool because it's up there, obscured by like the tree, or like you like, oh, okay, the mission mark is there and there's a path here, I guess I'll go this way, and you don't see that pool there because it's off to the side and obscured by a tree, and the intended path is obscured by a tree, you're gonna fail the mission, son. You ain't gonna win. So this is my problem. It's a bunch of like unintuitive and cryptic level design, where it's like you feel like there should be something here in order to get to a place or do a thing, but it's just not. Or it's hidden behind a tree. Like this baffles me. Like, it's cool, but the way it's placed, you'd have to try the mission again and see if it alerts guards if you do it my way. Otherwise, I don't know. But my point wasn't about choosing the optimal path or the optimal route. It's about traversal. Oh yeah, sure. I'm on a completely different topic now though. My issue is the level design being bad. Like, just like, not about like choosing like optimal paths or whatever. Just like straight up, this was just bad design. Like, real bad. I think so. This is my personal design philosophy. I think most challenges in video games, unless the intention is for you to fail, I think most challenges should be able to be beaten on the first attempt if the player is good enough. I'm not saying all games should be easy. I'm saying there should be a level of like guiding the player in order to have them arrive at the point, arrive at the goal, arrive at the winning state on their first attempt. Not saying that, I'm not saying that they should, like, every person playing should be able to beat a challenge on their first try. I'm saying the game should give you the tools necessary to be able to figure it out on your first time through intuition and observation. Given the fact that this mission is on a time limit, granted, you can leave the bug there and then explore. However, the way I just did it, and I think what most people, correct me if I'm wrong, what I think most people would do is use it as temporary like stops to just put the bug there as like, you know, a means of quieting it down and grabbing it again and then progressing. Otherwise, you just be progressing and then you're like, oh, there's the pool, and I have to go all the way back, grab it, and bring it back. So, given the fact that this level is on a time limit, and the fact that the intended path is here hidden behind a tree, I think these are incompatible. I think this path is incompatible with this mission design. The fact that I had to exploit a tiny bit of level geometry, which I can just straight up tell you, this is not what the devs intended, otherwise they wouldn't have built that path. This is a cool, like, speedrunning trick or whatever. Not saying this is what speedrunners use, but like, this is the sort of stuff that, like, it's more of an exploit than like an intended path. So, given the fact, with all those premises laid out, I think it's bad design. But you just have to learn the level. You could find the secret path on your own though. Doesn't matter if your perspective blocks it. It totally does though. Like, again, okay, you can't expect every single person playing this game to learn every ins and out of the level. And even if they did, they wouldn't have every part of it memorized. So, like I said, intended path or not, okay, no, this is not how you engage with like the level design. You have to engage on the level that the devs intended you to approach the challenge, right? No, this is entirely on the level. If the level isn't designed in a way where the player can, through observation, like a quick glance, or like even just like a cursory, like even just like a little bit of like looking, like this is misdirection. Like, the intuitive way is to go this way. Why would you think to check behind a tree? And still, the blue stuff isn't even on the ledge. It's just on this bit here. Like, it goes on the ledge when you're near the ledge, but I'm sorry, there's no getting around this. This is unintuitive design. I was able to beat this first try because I exploited a little bit of level geometry. If this part wasn't here, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Maybe if... Okay, I can jump off the table. But again, if that was the intended way, this path wouldn't exist. This is clearly the intended path to be able to get up to that place. And also, considering the fact that you have to run between pools to put the bug on a time limit, there's only a certain amount of time between each pool. Why would you make it so that you grab the bug here and then immediately end the level? If either of these methods were intended, that pool up there wouldn't exist. Because that's the intended way, but it's not. Yo.
What's up, my dude?
You know, just Sly 2's level design, not good. That still sounds like nitpicking. You were able to get there even about intended paths. I think it would only be bad if you couldn't get there at all or the path was so tricky you have to cheese. No, I disagree. I think I like to engage with level designs as the developers intended me to engage with it. If I feel like I've cheated in some way, I feel like I haven't engaged with the challenge fully. So me finding this little skip, it's just like, oh, well, I missed something. This isn't the right way to do it. Like, it can be cool. It's like, oh, I found this little skip. That's fun. But, like, every player should be able to find the intended way to get there.
Like, you use the stone steps here, though. Like, there is another way over the other side, but it's like you can use the stone steps here to get...
Alright. So, do you know, like, what we're talking about right now? Like, the mission.
Oh, the water bug mission? Or...
Yeah, the water bug mission. So you're meant to start like atop the rickety thing, and then like follow a path of pools, getting up to this point. The next pool is there, but considering that like it's kind of obscured by the tree, and you're gonna be focusing on the mission marker being right there, you're gonna be like, fuck, okay, how do I get there? The intuitive like way is like, okay, there's this archway in this path, maybe this path loops around and like there's like a walkway, because like you see that walkway, it's like, okay, maybe I just walk up there. But no, the intended path is hidden behind this tree stump. You're meant to go this way. Yeah.
I found it pretty quick.
Can you not see how that's like weird, unintuitive design though? Considering the fact that the mission is on a time limit because you're with a bug that alerts the guards if you take too long, you can't exactly just like go around and like inspect every part of the level as you're holding the bug.
I mean, I suppose, but like...
Either way, even if that wasn't the case, why would you hide the intended path behind a tree stump? This is the intended path. This isn't some like secret shortcut.
To trip you up.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like I was saying earlier, I think a good way to approach designing a game is every challenge that you present to the player, if they're skilled enough, they should be able to overcome it on their first try. Not saying every game should be easy or every game should be lenient on anything. I'm just saying the developers should give the player every tool they need in order to beat it on their first try without getting lost or being misdirected or anything like that. And granted, I did beat it on my first try, but I had to like exploit this tiny little bit of level geometry and get a ledge grab. But if that was the intended way, they wouldn't have put this pool here. They clearly intended you to come up this way. And if that's the case, why did they hide the intended path? And it's not like it would have been like that hard to like make it more obvious. Like, have this not be like so angular, because like a really good rule of thumb in a platformer is you should never make...
What bothers me is the fact that there's not... Normally you can see the blue circles a bit more.
Yeah, like if you could see the blue like glitter on the ledge, that'd be like a little bit better. But no, it's behind the actual stump. It's the right way to do it for you, not everyone. No, that is the clear intended path the developers made into the level for people to find and take. Me jumping on a little bit of level design to like get a ledge grab isn't what the developers intended to do, otherwise they wouldn't have built that path. I don't know, man. Games for me are an interactive medium and encourages you to explore and interact with the level on advance. I already saw this as fair play on the developer's part. I'm not saying it's like... I'm not saying like you can't like abuse a little bit of level geometry. I'm just saying it when I come across like a little skip like that on my first try at something, it feels like I haven't engaged in the actual challenge. I felt like I've just skipped a part. I've cheated, sort of. I don't like that feeling. I like being able to overcome the whole challenge the game has given me. And the fact that I found the skip before I found the intended path, I don't think that's good design. Like I said, like if I found that on like my 6th attempt or like a way later playthrough after already being very familiar with this game, that'd be a cool little discovery, you know, like in Jack, like there's plenty of ways to like skip little parts of the level, and that's like cool on like subsequent playthroughs when you're more familiar with the game. But on your first attempt, like finding a little part of the level to exploit in order to skip a whole section of the challenge, I like imagine if like that like there was a little exploit you could do in the middle of that mission, and it took you right to the end. Would you say, well, yeah, well, that's not that's a way to do it, and if it's in the game, then it's totally valid. Like the developers clearly like wanted you to do it. It's still part of the level. You could have found the path on your own. I don't think it's on the devs. There are 3 ways to get there. You found the way that works for you, but there's others. But no, this comes back to that discussion we had earlier about like multiple routes. When the routes are made by the devs and are valid, I think that's cool. But that wasn't. If that little bit of collision wasn't there, like and Sly just slid off that little bit of rock, it wouldn't have worked. And then I would have been stuck. I wouldn't have found that path. Why are we talking this like a linear game when it's an open world? Because this is a linear mission though. You need to be able to construct a linear path or have multiple valid paths, not just abusing a bit of the level geometry. Like if there was a trampoline around that area or something, it took me up to a vine up on a tree and like above the rooftops and stuff like that, that would have been cool. And like if it was like slightly hidden or something, that would have been like a cool way to like have a sort of little hidden path that takes me right to the end. Not right to the end, but like say if it was like around that second to last pool and there's like a little trampoline or something taking me to a vine or something like that. That would have been cool. Jumping on a little bit of rock, sticking out of the wall, and then getting a ledge grab. Again, it doesn't seem like it's intentional. It seems, yeah, it seems like it's just, oh, it's a little bit of like, it's a little exploit. Something that a speedrunner would do, or someone who's already very familiar with the game. It's not a linear mission. You don't fail if the timer ends. It is a linear mission. There are sort of like checkpoints scattered throughout the level. The little pools you have to put the bug in. That's a dot to dot. It's linear in an open world. And no, you don't fail the mission if like the bug goes off, but you're put into like a failure state because you've let the bug go off and now you're being chased by guards. Like you don't want that to happen. You want to be able to get through the mission without alerting the guards. That's the point of it, right? So it's not failing the mission by letting the bug go off. It's like a failure state. You can recover from it, of course, but it's not optimal. It's not what you want to happen. That's not linear. It's only linear if there are no other paths. That is the... Okay. There are multiple paths. Hold on. Okay, we didn't actually validate whether or not climbing up the trees on that tower thing and then coming around this way would actually work in the mission. But it's very clear that the developers intended you to start from the rickety bit where you first grab the bug and take it to every subsequent pool. It's very obvious that the developers wanted you to do that. You cannot tell me otherwise. Because of that, it is like a dot to dot throughout the open world, creating a linear path for you to traverse. I still say it's not linear based on skill because you can literally run to the other end of the mission. Okay, I'm not talking about what you're able to do, I'm talking about what the developers intended you to do. Obviously, you can do things the developers either didn't intend you to do, or they knew was possible, but still, like, again, like, these games are developed, like, these games were made for, like, kids, you know?
Oh.
They're not expecting kids to, like, take these, like, tricky alternate paths or whatever. there's like very clear intended paths for you to take. If you deviate from that path, it's not a big deal, and you can still be rewarded from it if, like, you know, it's a secret path or a little shortcut or whatever. However, it is very, very clear the devs intended you to take the bug from every pool. Bentley tells you to take the bug to each pool in order for the bug not to go off, to take it to the room. We should ask the devs.
I'm the dev.
Yeah, you know, I'm the dev. I made this game single-handedly, and that's exactly what I wanted you to do. That little bit sticking out of the wall shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't be able to jump on that.
Hey Zeke, imagine if one dev did do that on purpose.
I'm sure, like, they were probably aware of it, but again, it's not the intended path. I'm not saying your playthrough is invalid if you take like a little alternate path. However, I think you should be able to follow the dev intended route with ease. You know what? This all reminds me of, like, let's use an example we all know, Jak and Daxter. Let's take Boggy Swamp, right? So, you are able...
When's Boggy Swamp coming out?
Shh, I've already had someone ask me to stream. You are able to traverse the level backwards, right? You're able to roll jump into the end of the level and go backwards. Now, I'm sure the devs were aware of that. It's not very hard to do. It's pretty easy, in fact. However, it's not exactly intended. When I say intended, I mean what the developers expected the player to do, given what they gave the player. What's it called? Like, the instructions and the tools necessary to do it. Hold on. Trying to determine the intended way in a semi-open level with multiple routes, calling it bad design based on not knowing the level enough doesn't work. I think with a level like this, getting to know the level better is good purely from the standpoint of finding shortcuts or alternative routes. I think that's valid. Getting more familiar with the level and having that familiarity be able to let you find better ways to get to places is good stuff. I like that. However, the intended way to get through a level, especially a timed mission like this, be unintuitive and hidden from the player, isn't good design. It shouldn't take me to have studied the map and explored every nook and cranny for me to find the intended way to finish a story mission. Visual clues? What clue? The tree is hiding it.
This is a visual clue.
Oh, that, yes. No, I like that. That's cool. I agree that can be part of the fun. However, not every gamer plays the same way. Not every gamer is going to be experimental with... Cool. Yeah. Not every gamer playing a game is going to be experimental with their traversal and their way of getting around. Most people are just going to play the game the way the developers tell them to play it. And this mission tells you to follow the pools, put the bug in the pool to prevent the alarm going off, and reach the room. The fact that the way the game tells you to do it is obstructed by a piece of the level and misdirects you to go into this other path, which doesn't lead you to the way you're supposed to go, isn't very good design.
I like the fact that you can see the enemy's shadows here.
Yes, me too.
Looks
Looks a bit scary because of the way they're stretched, but that's PS2's fault. Not every game will go on the same route, especially open level. Yes, I agree, but this is a linear mission. It's expecting you to go on a linear route. I've never played this game, so I have no clue what's going on. I'm showing them bad level design.
Zeke is rage.
I'm not raged. I'm just frustrated that something very obvious isn't being understood. Okay, you start the level from this pool, right? Then Bentley says, "Oh, Sly, you need to put all the bugs in the pools so they don't go off. So just follow the pools to get to the room." Bentley tells you, follow this linear path.
Oh, I love leading Rajan.
No, that's a different mission.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw the...
Bentley literally tells you to follow this linear path. So, most players are going to follow this linear path because that is what the game has told them to do. There are obviously other players who are more experimentative with their approach, who will try to find alternative routes, and that is totally valid. However, the point stands, this mission was designed to be followed linearly. You start from here, and you go to this first pool that the game shows you in the cutscene. Then from this pool, you have a look around, and you'll see the steam coming off the pool over there, or wherever it was. So you'll follow that pool, and you'll keep going. It's a dot to dot. There's obviously different ways you can get to each pool throughout this open area, because there are multiple intended paths you can take. Look at this, like I could go across this vine here, or I could like jump down here and cross this bridge. These are both valid because the developers actually put like paths here, and like, you know, when a path is in a video game, you're supposed to like walk across it, right? And then looky that, because of the fact that this pool down here was put right next to these climbing ropes, it's pretty intuitive that, you know, I'm probably gonna have to climb these ropes to get to the next one. Oh, looky that, there's a pool to put the bug in. And then from here, walk up a little bit. Oh, there's a steam coming from the next pool, right over there. So you put the bug in the pool, and then, okay, so I'm at this pool here, right? There's not really many other paths I can go because the direction's telling me the marker is up there, that's the room I need to go to, right? So there's not really many more ways I can go except this way. And considering there's like a ramp here that leads me up here, I must have to go this way. There's one direction it's showing you, like, there's one intuitive way it's telling you to go. So it's probably the way you have to go. And would you look at that, there's a pool here. Great design. The fact that it's like limited your options and funneled you through the level a specific way, it's good. It's telling you where you need to go. So, considering the fact that the marker is right up there, and there's only a little bit of the path left to go to, it would make sense that because you've already started following this path, you'd follow the rest of it up here. And would you look at that, there's the next pool. Now here's the fun part. The marker is right above you, so, and it looks too high to double jump. In fact, it is too high to double jump. You can't just double jump and grab it and get up there. So you're like, where am I supposed to go? And you see this archway right to your left, right next to the pool you're at. So it's like, there must be a path this way. And you walk down it a little bit and you see it loops around and there's a ramp going up to the general direction where the marker is you're supposed to get to. So it feels intuitive to be like, okay, maybe I just follow this bridge and it'll bring me up. But it actually doesn't. You follow that bridge and it brings you to this door here. It's completely disconnected from there. The real path is actually hidden behind a tree. So we've had a whole mission so far, taking advantage of this open world, right? Putting dot to dots throughout the level, where it's funneled you through it in such a way where it feels intuitive, the way to get to the next one. You don't have to like find some secret hidden route. There's no like obstruction or misdirection. It's just like, oh, there's the next one. I can see the little steam of the pool in the distance. I just got to follow that. And then you get to the second to last one and it's like, oh, well, where do I go now? It's hidden behind a tree. Okay, if you're telling me that I'm wrong because I listened to what the game told me to do, you've completely lost the argument. I'm so sorry. This game is made for kids. And even if it wasn't, when a game tells you to do a thing, and then you doing the thing results in you failing, you're gonna feel like the game has cheated you a bit. Like, alright. Alright. Because my good friend here has brought up crew in chat, let's imagine Jack 2's mission where you've got to drive to the Hip Hog for the first time, delivering the eco package, right? Now, the map is telling you that you need to follow this linear path, right? That you need to go through the industrial section to get to the port. But what if the true answer was actually to go to the water slums and go to the and go fight some metalheads instead? That's how you actually get to crew.
See what I could do if you had a bot? I could do cool shit like this. I could have the bot say that as an automated response.
Yeah. Not everyone thinks the same way. You're using a very specific route based on what you think would be best. I am basing it on what the developers told me to do. And because I'm a dumb 3-year-old playing a PS2 game for the first time in my life, the developers telling me to do something is probably the right way I'm supposed to be doing it. I have already conceded that there are multiple different types of gamers everywhere out there that approach this stuff differently, and that is totally valid. And good thing that it's actually, well, as far as we know, it's actually able to be done in multiple different ways, and that's great. However, there is one clear way to do it. And being able to do it, the clear way, should be intuitive. I can't believe I'm needing to reiterate this so many times. For instance, when I did the mission, I walked across this, and then I spire jumped onto these down to here.
Deep jungle isn't intuitive.
No, deep jungle is not intuitive.
Deep jungle's
I could have like grabbed the bug from the pool and run down this path. I could have done that, or I could have just jumped down and gone over this bridge. So while it's not 100% linear, I'm not going like forward. There are little paths and deviations I can take to get to the intended spot, which is right here. However, you can clearly tell this is intended by the developers, given the fact that it's like part of the level. A little bit of rock jutting out of a wall isn't like a system you engage with. A bridge is a system you engage with. Yeah, Igor, yeah, like I said, it's fun to be able to find your own little unintended ways to get through levels. That's fine. But the intended path should be very, well, not very easy, but it should be intuitive to find. You shouldn't feel like you're struggling with the game to find the right way to go.
To like kind of clarify what Zeke's saying in less angry words.
I'm not even angry. Well, I'm frustrated, but I'm not even yelling.
Yes, Zeke. But
anyway,
sometimes your words sound very aggressive, my friend.
Yeah, well, it's gotten to this point because we've been here for half an hour. Anyway, what's your point?
What my point is that it shouldn't be necessarily easy. It should just be clear what you have to do.
Yeah.
It shouldn't necessarily be easy to do it. It should just be clear.
Yeah. If your goal isn't clear,
you should be able to understand what you're supposed to do.
Yes, exactly.
Being able to do it is a completely different question.
Yes, exactly. You know what? You can do the Bentley mission. I don't even know what it is. I just...
it's where you drunk, Rajan.
Oh, that was pretty good. Oh, with the watermelons?
Yes.
Yes.
See, Bentley is literally like day rate.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. This is why I don't have a YouTube channel, guys.
Been on your side for like 20 minutes already? At least somebody is. Oh.
No, you do it.
Oh, fine.
I did it the other day, but it's fun.
You know what? Despite like how frustrated I get with this stuff, I like having these discussions because it is very good for me to be able to strengthen my arguments and be able to concisely convey the point I'm trying to make. So if I've got someone consistently disagreeing with me, if anything, it's helping me strengthen my arguments. Wakes up at witching hours. Zeke says Sly 2 sucks. Fine, I'm up. Based. Well, you just missed a massive fucking stun lock. Liking this duo you have going on, by the way. Yeah, I like having him here as well.
Hey guys. Man, look at this man run. You can't tell me you hate this man's run.
I never said I hated Bentley or his run.
This is the best gameplay I've ever seen just because of the way this man runs. Look.
You know, I like how Kane said my point pretty much the same way I've been saying it this whole time, but calmer. And now you agree with me. That's fun. That's fun.
Well, I use different words.
I reiterated it like 8 times in different ways.
Yeah, but people hear like frustrated words and they tend to just be like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah, I know. It's ugh. Maybe I should just use text to speech, and then no one can get angry at me being angry.
Okay, just a pancake.
Yeah, exactly.
I miss just a pancake.
Your opinion is clear, but your point is clear, but your opinion about the tree's path not being clear, I disagree with your opinion, but okay, I guess my preference is just I like good designed levels. Still don't agree, but keep going about the intended way. You keep going about the intended way to play in a semi-open level design with multiple approaches. I'll say this one more time. It is a linear mission in an open world. Yep. You ever played the Water Slums mission in Jak 2? There's a linear path to get there with like a couple very minor changes in paths you can take. But it's in an open world. But it's still a linear mission. You used to have a start point and an end point. Do I have to boot up Jak 2 now? Do I? You know what? I'm doing it. We're really going here. Okay. Here's a little stream clip I've got of me doing the seal piece at the Water Slums damageless. I thought this was a cool clip because it's a hard mission and I did it without taking any damage, and that's pretty sick. So here's the point of the mission where you start, right? You start here and there's a clear endpoint where this circle is. There's really only one way to get there. If I walked straight ahead, I couldn't get there because there's a dead end and there's more paths over there, but they don't lead me to the end goal, right? So we go this way. Now, here's a little fork in the road. I could go this way, right? I'd have to jump over a gap, so it feels a little bit unsafe to do because I can get shot in the air and fall in the water and die. But if you follow that path through, you can get to the next bit. So here's a little bit of taking multiple directions where you can still arrive at the intended path. However, it is still linear. The game is asking you to get from point A to point B. There might be a few forks in the road on the way, but either way you get there, you still get to the end of the level. So you follow this path. Here's another little one. So like, there's this path here with like guards coming out. And you can go around this building if you really want to. There's also this part here where you can either take a right path to go that way, or you can go straight ahead and follow a few more little forks in the road. Either way, there's a start point at A and an end point at B. And most of the forks in the road end up at B. It is linear. And I follow the right path because I'm based and right-pilled, I guess. So here's another little fork in the road. Again, both lead to the end point. Even though there is multiple paths to take, there is a clear end point. The path is clear. Just so there's no trees obscuring where I'm supposed to be going. And then would you look at that? I made it to the end point. Isn't that cool? Isn't that just Pog? Right. I'm never playing Jak 2 again. I'm not sure I'm sold. You need to play through all of Jak 2 again to convince me. You know I fucking will. I wasn't arguing about Jak 2, I was arguing about Sly 2. The design of these two missions are entirely different. No, they're not. No, they're so analogous. They both take place in an open world. You realize that? Isn't that kind of wacky? Like, they're both in an open world, but like, it asks you to go like to very specific places and there's like a clear endpoint. There's a clear A and B. Isn't that wacky? But they're both in an open world. You can, of course, like take little divergences from the path. There's little forks in the road. But there's still an A to B progression. That's what I call linear. Like, can you tell me any letters between A and B? I can't think of any. There's like A.5. Is that real? I don't know. This sass is a nice thing to come back to. Welcome back. Would a better comparison be the beam mission in Forbidden Jungle? You know, that's a great example, actually. So did you know that like Jak 1 is also open world? Jak 1's level design is actually more similar to Sly 2's level design than Jak 2's. So imagine this is Forbidden Jungle. It's a little bit bigger than Forbidden Jungle, but they both have trees. That's pretty cool.
They both have a temple.
Yeah. So imagine the beams that you like redirect the eco beam in the jungle to be those little ponds. You need to get to each one. In the case of the Forbidden Jungle, there's no urgency or anything, so it's pretty chill. There's no like real challenge to it. You kind of just do it. But in this one, you got a time limit, so there's actual challenge there.
I heard beans when you said beams. Click that coffee link.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Now, Forbidden Jungle is open world. There's no denying that. However, there's a clear start point at the first beam and a clear end point at the last one. So I would call that A to B. It's called linearity. You can't really beat the bug mission without going to each of the ponds. Unless you're like a speedrunning god or something.
Or me.
I guess. I don't know.
I'm
But it's very alright, it is very clear the intended way to approach that mission is to place the bug in the ponds. So you need to like get to the ponds. I can't believe I have to like argue about the point that like you need to do what the game tells you to in order to beat the mission. I really want in on this metaphysical debate about open linear. I've been wondering a lot about that for myself. You can still beat it without doing exactly what you described. I never said you can't beat it without doing it that way. Oh my god, how many times have I said there are players who are able to like approach missions in different ways or like be experimentative with their traversal or do things in different ways, but the point still stands. There is a dev intended way of doing the thing. The developers wanted you to do this in a specific way. So here's the thing about experimentation in video games, right? You can experiment all you want. Not every time you experiment about doing something is going to lead you to winning or, you know, accomplishing what you need to. However, if you're doing it the way the developers told you to do it, it's pretty likely you will succeed. There is a... I can't believe I had to like clearly define what dev intended means. My god. The way he eats the melons hurts me metaphysically. What's wrong with his eating melons?
Hey, call back to Tuesday's stream. Hey, yo, I've completely changed my mind about minigames. Minigames are the best parts of the game.
Ooh, okay, deity. Hold on a sec. I need to like show you something. Is it this one? Yep. Okay. So right here, it's not linear. You're hemmed in. The only fail state is dying to the guards. It's not linear, but for the record, I think the water slums is more linear than this one. So it is linear. Man. Man, I guess I just don't know anymore. But you can still beat it without doing it the expected way. Yeah, I already addressed that though. I never said there's only one singular way to do it. I just said there is one singular way the developers tell you to do it, meaning that is dev intended.
Unless the devs had multiple ways to intend to do it.
Yes, and I'm not saying that there's not multiple ways to do that mission. I'm just saying that is the one way they tell you to do it.
That was their artistic vision.
Yes, exactly.
That we pervert in our own experiences. But, you know, nothing wrong with perverting it.
There's nothing... See, this is the thing about open-ended games. You can approach things multiple ways and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're doing something the developers tell you to do, it's the very clear thing they develop, like they designed the level for you to accomplish. And you can't do that very well. Then what the fuck? Since the complaint stems mainly from one section of the mission, I'm surprised the convolute... Yeah, I know. Holy crap. I wasn't talking about Jack 2 in that first comment. I was talking about Sly 2. Wait, which first comment?
The hemmed in thing.
Yeah, but he says guards. Interesting point. Spyro is open world, but is divided into 6 segments. Oh, guards. Okay, when I hear guards, I hear Crimson Guards.
Talking about being Jack pilled.
Oh, I see. Okay, my bad. This was made before I brought up Jack 2. All right, that was my bad. Sorry for the call out like that. Fuck, how long are we going for? 3 hours. I started playing Sly at like an hour into the stream.
Sheesh.
Reminds me how back in the day I was too dumb to figure out the intended mechanic for beating the Geyser Valley Colossus in Shadow of the Colossus. I just abused terrain. Felt awesome, but some 15 years later, I can still see the toppling that bastard was the intended way. No shame in that. Wait. Okay, I can't speak to the specific example you gave, but like, it's not intended. because something functions, it doesn't mean that's what they intended. Let's not break my capture card. So like, let's say I use a boosted uppercut in Jack 1 to get past like a gap, like a platforming challenge. So like, I mean, it works. The developers might have known about it, who knows? I was able to do it, but is that what they wanted me to do?
It's not anything to feel bad about, as we've said multiple times.
No, there's nothing wrong with like approaching the level or like the challenge in an alternative way. I'm just saying that if what is like the intended path is not clear, what you're supposed to be doing isn't clear, then I think that's an issue.
When Zeke's trying to judge a game, he likes to play it as intendedly, as much to the
Yes,
devs'
because
intentions
I feel like
possible.
playing as intended is engaging with the art on its own terms, and I think that's the best way to engage with art, at least on a first viewing. Would you agree?
Probably.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna stop me from choosing the lingering.
Fuck off. You're beating that bitch.
Zeke, there's nothing wrong with doing it. Okay.
No, that feels like cheating though. It's a little bit different.
Nah.
I mean, like, but if you figured it out on your own, more power to you. But you looked it up on the internet.
Well, I am the internet. How about that?
Oh, shut up. There's definitely a more linear mission. This is definitely a more linear mission since the pools have an ideal sequence based on proximity. Yes, exactly. As for something functions, watch Ratchet and Clank speedruns beat the game in 15 minutes and tell me that is canon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like doing all those fucking convoluted movement tech in Ratchet 3. Yeah, that's totally what the developers like. You know, they were aware of it. It's totally intended. I wonder if the mission would be better if you were supposed to take the bridge and there were pools there and a secret. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's great. That's what I said. If that path behind the tree was like a secret shortcut, that would have been fucking pog. That would have been so cool if you were like explored that mid mission or like found it beforehand. It's like, hey, I can take this way. If there were pools on this bridge here and on this path, and you were still able to walk up to the thing, and that was like
and even like still having the guards patrol up
Yeah,
there
exactly.
and utilizing the vines.
Yeah, exactly. Like if that was like still viable, like they made the mission with that in mind, that would have been cool. But there's not. Like you can't get to the doorway from going this way unless like I don't know, you use some like movement tech or something.
What they would have to do is they would have to widen the bridge a bit, but that's about it. So that guards can still move along it.
Either way, I'm right. I've been right this whole time. There's no inconceivable way I was wrong, because I just seem to always be right. Isn't that crazy? Oh, I don't even have the energy
You're
to...
not right. You're left-handed.
Shut the fuck up. I don't even have the energy to fucking play this anymore. I'm just dicking around. Give me them coins, bro.
Yuck is a street.
Yeah. This community better remake Sly 2 as well. Yeah, we're gonna remake Sly 2, so it's a good game. Burn. My favorite cutscene in Jack 3 is a precursors finally providing in-game lore for the hover feature. Oh yeah, I remember that. Remember when like when Cyber Errol's like, "Oh, you can't catch me, Jack," steals Jetboard, hovers away. It's like Jack's like, "How did he do that?" And Dax is like, "Oh, it's easy. You just get on the Jetboard and you hold L1 and then move the analog stick halfway to either the left or right, and then push it all the way up and then mash L1. That's how you do, that's how Errol did that." I remember that. That was great. I changed my mind. Jack 3 is the best game in the series.
The geometrical emblazoned upon it.
You mean jump and hit the circle button? A rough estimate, to be sure.
A rough translation, to be sure.
To be fair, if you put the bug in the water by that bridge and walk onto the bridge, then look right, it could be more clearer. I suppose, but like...
why don't we just bug him like we did in Dimitri? Like, why do we have to use the water bug? Like,
oh yeah, with the painting. Yeah, why don't we just use a... Wait, no, because that makes sense. In Dimitri's thing, like, it's all about high art, so like he just exchanges the same painting that's bugged. We could have done something similar.
Yeah,
Instead of a fucking bug that goes off, like Jesus.
like
Like, isn't it gonna notice a bug that wasn't there before? It's like, ew, a bug, squish. Oh, there goes our surveillance Sly.
You're gonna have to try again.
Do it all over again. Hope he doesn't squash this one. Yeah, go subscribe to that if you want to see more high quality rants and discussions on a regular basis. If you're not here for them. He does notice the bug. He's just arrogant and doesn't give it much attention. I don't even know if he does or not. We're just joking around. Bentley literally reading the game manual, yeah. No, that's in fucking Rayman. Man, streams are gonna be fun again once we finish Sly.
Zeke's heart is poor at the moment.
No, I think it's...
Maybe you should support him. Join his Patreon. Join the crew.
I think I just really hung up on the optimal way these mechanics should be done, but I don't think... No, I'm not hung up on the optimal way. I'm hung up on the intended way. It's very different. I don't know any optimal strategies for Sly because I'm not very familiar with these games. I could be doing things like the 100% best no fail, say like 0% failure way possible, or I could be doing things like the worst way possible. I have no idea. All I know is that yeah, that was bad design. Wasn't about like mechanics or anything. It was level design. Only true fans knows. Yeah, my true fans are the $10 patrons on Patreon under the crew banner in my Discord. Those are the true fans.
And you know what, guys? I don't have that title because I don't pay this man money on Patreon.
You're not wrong to point out these flaws, but I don't think it makes it a worse game because it excels them. You can excel at things and still... What? No, that doesn't make any sense. I can concede a game excels at a lot of things, but still bring up an issue and say the game is worse for it. You can't tell me that if that was better designed, the game would be the same. It would be better. It's like saying, like, pointing out that Red Eco in Jak 1 is kind of underutilized. It's not really used a whole lot, and it didn't really live up to its full potential. You can't tell me that if Red Eco, like, had been fully utilized and was, like, you know, really had the juices squeezed out of it of its potential, that it would be the same game. It wouldn't be any better.
Do we have any New Yorkers in chat?
Why?
Because I want to make a coffee joke.
It's a good game, it's not a perfect one. None is, save for Journey Back, of course. The man here is very educated. But being a flaw, it automatically makes the game worse. I will concede that, like, flaws are in the eye of the beholder. However, I think most people would agree, from an outside looking in, without any bias towards Sly or anything. This is a pretty bad level design right there. You know, with your hair tied back, you kind of look like a fucking mobster. It's like...
A little bit.
So,
there is a reason why I shower after work.
Yeah. So, I hear you don't want to subscribe to Powercell Zeke on Patreon.
Alright. I'm walking over here.
Oh, fuck, yeah, Martian's right. Journey Back doesn't have crew in it. I guess even gods have their flaws.
Join the crew.
I don't know, man, you're the only one who's pointed out that particular mission as an egg. See, this is actually something I've noticed. After the first Sly stream, I went on YouTube and watched like a fuck ton of Sly 2 reviews. Almost, like, pretty much none of them went in depth about the gameplay systems. Giving examples of like what worked and what didn't work. I didn't really see any. Which was kind of...
Go in there, you idiot.
Shut up. Which was kind of disappointing. It was like the whole reason I wanted to watch reviews, to like see other people's perspectives, because my issues with this game have very little to do with the story. It's mostly gameplay. So I'm not surprised I'm the only one who's pointed it out, because I don't see many people talking about the actual game's gameplay that much. And also, just because I'm the only person you've seen point out an issue, I don't think it nullifies my criticism. Like, I could have found like a game-breaking bug where it's like, I don't know, like I could have been the only person in the world who's ever found this bug in this game, where if, like, I don't know, I jump on a certain texture, it erases it in my entire memory card, and I say that's an issue. That's a flaw. You can't just say, well, you're the only person I've seen brought it up, so it can't be that bad. It's like, well, no. Just because I'm the first one to have seen it doesn't make it not bad. Heading to bed? Alright, no worries, man. Have a good night. Zeke's Sly 2 review when? Yeah, I don't know.
Have a good night, Martian.
I would leave my boyfriend for Zeke's friend, bro.
Oh, that's lovely. But I don't swing that way, okay?
Yeah, you don't swing towards those named Michelle M.
Yeah. I definitely do not.